Hey babies, it's me 7K.
And it's me, Rain, you little...
And welcome to a very spooky and a very scary episode of Set in Bone Stone. Your one-stop shop for stories with no backspace, no delete, no editing.
It's a metaphor for life.
Yeah.
And death.
Yeah, it's...
And this week, it's the Halloween, so we gotta do creepypasta subgenres.
And it's gonna be very, hopefully, you're
gonna get your socks scared the shit off.
Your skeleton's gonna jump right out of your body, because this is... Rain, I want to re-record this. This is going terribly.
This is perfect. No. We have to incorporate the philosophy with the intro too.
Oh, okay. This is terrible. I hate it.
No, this is perfect. I'm giving you the creepypasta subgenre of Jeff the Killer fanfiction.
Shit, I'm gonna be completely honest, Rain. That's what I was gonna give you. So...
How did I know?
So I don't know what
I guess we're both doing Jeff the Killer.
Yeah,
fanfiction.
guys, are you ready? Do you like Jeff the Killer? I don't, but I'm going to pretend like I do for this next story.
I don't understand how it got popular. It's so bad.
Yeah, well, hopefully that'll apply to this show too. And we're back. So this one's called Olaf is So Strong and So Beautiful. Before we start reading, Rain, I have to ask you, is this like the sequel to the Johnny Dragon Muscle story?
No.
So it's just coincidental that the main character of this is named Olaf.
There's no coincidence. I just have a bag of shitty names, and I just pull out shitty names whenever I need a shitty name, and Olaf just happened to be the name twice.
Olaf was an unhappy lil cunt. He had long black hair and liked listening to 9 Inch Nails, the band. He lived in a place where people add an accent that cut out the H sounds words sometimes. Also, the F sound of words like of occasionally. Nice world building right off the start, huh?
Yeah, very good at this.
This day was essentially the same as every other day of this poor cunt's life. He woke up to his alarm, which was the song Every Day is Exactly the Same by 9 Inch Nails. He put on the first shirts he pulled from his drawer and the pair of jeans he'd been wearing for the past month and a half. He went into the bathroom to prepare himself for the day. He brushed his teeth and he brushed his hair. He put on his eyeshadow to enhance the dark circles he already had under his eyes, so people knew he was edgy AF. He went down to the kitchen and saw his mother had prepared pancakes, orange juice, bacon, and eggs for him. "Good morning, sweetie," she said happily. "Fuck you, Mom. I hate morning," he said in his mind. Oh. He was a giant pussy. What he actually said was, "Good morning, Mom. How'd you sleep last night?" The rest of the conversation was as boring as you would think it was. Actually, Lickle even more boring. This boy, for as unhappy as he projected himself to be, was acutely happy on the inside. He wanted to be unhappy so he could be cool as Trent Reznor, is this guy you, dude?
No, he's actually happy.
He got to school where his first class was social studies. He loved social studies and excelled in this class, but he often neglected handing in the papers because he wanted to project an air of apathy instead of one of apathy. Lunch came around. He sat alone, even though everyone liked him. Girls would often come by and say hi to him, but he would tell them that they were whores. Also, he was gay. But that didn't really matter. The rest of his day was as boring as described as in the above paragraphs. On his walk home, the scent of smoke filled his nostrils. He turned the corner to find his home, and several of the homes near it, reduced mostly to ash with a few pieces of mostly blackened wood strewn about. He was filled with an immense sadness and began to sob. After that was over, he said, again in his mind, "Time to become a serial killer so others can experience the sadness that I have been filled with so recently." And so he did. He killed so many exceptional young people like himself. This went on for years without him being caught, and some say he is still out there. They're correct. One day, the anniversary of his house's demise, his family was still alive. They had left the house for school and work-related reasons. He noticed on a TV report about another serial killer. "No, I am the only one," the middle-aged Olaf said, and off he went for a place ticket for the place the serial killer report had been. He went to kill the other killer. Upon landing, he left the airport and went to the nearest forest. The serial killer instincts told him that there was that this is where the other serial killer would be. He found a tree with a knife lodged in it. He was right. "Hey, faggot!" a shrill teenage voice said from behind him. "Don't call me that. That's mean," said Olaf, filled with rage from the boy's lack of manners. "Well, what should I call you?" the boy said mockingly. "My name is Olaf. Olaf the killer." "Well, Olaf, the name is G... What? What?
I told you I fucked up.
G star CY, but you can call me Jeff. Killer the Jeff the killer. Olaf could tell that they boy was incredibly nervous, but more importantly, he found the other serial killer. He belted out, "I found you, Faker." Is he Shadow?
Keep going.
Faker, you're comparing... That's good. "You're comparing yourself to me. You're not even good enough to be my... I'll make you eat those words." Olaf pulled the knife from the tree he was standing near as Jeff charged at him with another knife. He thrust it at Jeff's abdomen, but the boy did like 15 backflips and threw his knife at Olaf. Olaf caught the knife and charged at Jeff. Jeff kept doing backflips and backflipped into a tree. Olaf caught up with the boy and stabbed him. Jeff began bleeding out. Olaf kept stabbing him. It was about 5 more times, I think. I don't really remember. Jeff died because that's how stab wounds work. when you're aiming for the important bits. Ha ha ha! I am truly the best serial killer of all time. Yes, it is I, me, Olaf the Killer. What a tremendously stupid name. Jesus fucking Christ. He buried the boy in the forest using his newly found knives as digging tools. He exited the forest only to accidentally run into a cop. Excuse me, sir, but why do you have to put, butter knives in your hands over... Sorry, covered in blood and mud. I'm an artist. Sir, you're under arrest for murder. That's not how the legal system works. The cop pulled out the gun and shot him. No one cared because Olaf was black. Social commentary. Good ending.
Thank you. Alright, time for 7K. Story Greg the Killer.
He's back, guys.
Gazing across the screen, an epic story that must be seen. Jeff the Killer is hinting at what I should have been. How could I have missed out all my life, all of my 14-year life, of such great prose, diction, and storytelling, perfect narrative structure, delivering a brilliant tale of that which is most human, revenge. Jeff, the hot boy of my dreams that makes me want to creams. I was once blind, but now I do see. Jeff has the life and styles for me. I look across the table and see the many letters I have received since the antelope incident. It was last Tuesday, the day that further ruined my life forever. The school was in for an assembly, a horrible assembly. Well, the assembly itself wasn't horrible. It's what happened to me when I went there that was horrible, but you get the gist of it. So I go into the gym hall and get up to redo, to not pay attention for the next hour. Oh, and get
ready.
So I went into the gym hall and get ready to not pay attention for the next hour. Possibly masturbate while I'm at it, TBH. I get up to the door and I can see in. I can see it all. The principal, the uncomfortable bleachers, the overpriced vending machines, and the antelope of a chief, the school mascot. I walked past him, not know what's hid inside. Harold, my buddy. He jumped off the ground and on... Oh, Harold, my bully. He jumped off the ground and onto me. I screamed, "No, Antelope, I am your friend!" But it proceeded to cut off my toe. The principal... That's not how you spell toe.
Yes, it is. That is how you spell toe.
Cut off my toe, the wrong toe, in front of the entire school. The principal told him to stop, but then he ate my toe, again the wrong toe, and everyone left and then came back and laughed at me. Then he ripped my clothes off and cut off another toe, again the wrong toe. I tried to get my parents to do something, but they said I had to fight my own battles. The cops were too dirty to do anything, and all the judges said boys will be boys. He wasn't even suspended, but I did. I got suspended for the indecent exposure and gay PDA, which is worth twice as much as straight PDA because I live in the South. The whole time I've been up in my home, I've been getting nothing but hate mail. Though through actual letters, who goes through that effort anymore? I'll tell you who. Harold. And his grandparents probably. But now I look over to my mirror, and I see what I can be, a creepypasta killer. First things first, let me start a Word doc listing the character design and make sure it represents my personality. Okay, so I got a pale face, dark eyes with some sort of goop dripping, possibly face paint lines, dirty hoodie. Okay, I have my outfit picked out, and I guess I'm supposed to have a catchphrase or something, but I'm too exited to wait so I'll just go with, "It is fine for me to murder you to death. Watch out, Jacksonville, Florida. Here comes Greg the Killer." I jump from the window and break my ankle. Ah, that's the same one that I lost my toes. Again, the wrong toes on. Luckily, no one's seen me, but I quickly limped into the woods so no one would find me when they came to investigate. A tough start, I'll admit, but no one who accomplished the thing they wanted to ever did that by quitting so soon as they broke Brock E. their ankle jumping out of their window. I had my goal set in mind. I was going to murder Harold. He lived down the street from me, so murdering him shouldn't be too hard, or at least it wouldn't be if it weren't for this injury. I figured I could probably reach his house from the section of the wood across from the street. Across the street that the section I was in was at. But by the time I had wrapped my foot up, people already came out to investigate at the screaming. 2 people to be exact. Hey, does anyone need any help? Those idiots should have known better. I reached into my Aeropostale bag brand satchel and grabbed some batteries. I'll tell you why. I took them with me later. Equals D. And tossed in front of them as they walked and quickly dashed to the other side. I heard one of them, of the gem, say, heck, I don't know why, / run. After about 3 hours, I was wandering around aimlessly in the woods. After about 3 hours of wandering around aimlessly in the woods, I finally made it to Harold's backyard. I could see him through the window. He saw me and said, Greg, why are you wearing makeup? Then he took out a gun and came into the backyard where I was. Get off my property. No, he shot me in the foot, the same as the toe cuts and ankle break. It felt like when you kept stubbing the same toe over and over again. The anger of this made me cut off his arm. Also, I tripped because he shot me, which was also a factor in the arm cut. It's time. It's time for me to murder you to death. Why are you trying to cut a battery? I'm going to open the battery to release a lightning bolt. That's my thing, dude. That's not how that works. Fuck Jay, you asshole. I stabbed Harold in the neck, killing him instantly. Make sure to follow me at gregthekiller.tumblr.com to get more epic stories of my murders and murder-related exploits. Eventually, I want to meet the righted of Jeff the Killer and fuck him, but that's neither here nor there. I'll keep you guys up to that. But until then, remember, it is time for me to murder you to death.
So how about that judging? That's what we just did.
Yeah, and we decided to recreate the system.
You mean reinvent it? Yeah.
There's gonna be much less confusion when we're doing the math. It's a utilitarian change, really.
So for you, I gave you a 20 out of 50 for creativity.
Oh yeah,
because...
we made a new character. Quality. All of these stories are garbage, so we replaced quality with creativity.
Yeah, the whole point of this series is to make something that isn't very good, but in an authentic way, and seeing what we can do with this stipulation, right? But judging it by the standards of what quality it is in terms of actual, like, good stories that have the ability to put thought and effort and, well, not effort, you know, like editing into it. But we figured that what we're really trying to get at is how much creativity is there. So for creativity, I gave you a 20 because I feel like if I think of things that were really creative in it, the only thing I can think of was how he's happy on the inside and sad on the outside. That was kind of interesting, but it's really just you copy and pasting 2 different things. But, you know.
Oh yeah, totally. For creativity, I gave you a 30 because he was gay. Like, that's a big part of it.
Okay.
Having gay representation is very important in independent media. You know, he's got to come up with his persona. He doesn't just adopt it. Like, it came naturally to him. That's very good. Got the antelope of achievement. What more do you need?
Prompt, you got a 25 out of 50, because 25 indicates that you have the very basics of whatever you're talking about is, and what we're talking about is a subgenre. I don't know how you push past 4 subgenre, so we're both kind of locked at 25.
We both agreed, like, yeah, we did it.
Yeah, so 20 out of 50 laziness, I'd have to say, is because, I didn't really ever feel like there was any, like, push forward from it, I guess. Like, it kind of just felt like, okay, I guess I'm writing a story, a Jeff the Killer fanfiction type story. So, he's kind of this guy, and he walks around for a bit. And then stuff, it's a 20 out of 50. There you go.
Yeah, I gave you a 20 out of 50 laziness as well because, you know, pretty much the same thing you said. It's just kind of, it's Jeff the Killer, but not.
So, for incoherence, I gave you a 5 only for the G star killer, whatever that was.
For incoherence, I gave you a 10 out of 50 because, it was pretty much very straightforward, very understandable. But there were like a few sentences where I was like,
What?
it took me like a second to grasp what was going on. So that brings our total scores. Nowadays, we're starting at a 0 instead of a 50.
The highest is now 100, as was
And
before.
the lowest is a negative 100.
That's horrible.
7K here. He's got that 30 and then that 25 that it has together for a 55. Then minus 20, minus 10. That goes to a 25. And then I get a 20.
So, I win this episode, and I don't get to choose the next one because he still chose it from last time, so I don't know. This
Because this one's prompt was set in stone.
Yeah, boys, the setup
It's
for
a
this
holiday
show.
episode.
This show is really convoluted, and this outro is 8 minutes long.